Good morning. I have not done a video for quite a long time. I've just been doing stuff, you know. Anyway, I've got a little sketchbook, sort of sketch pad that's got all different bits of things in there, and it's a bit of a practice thing, a practice pad. It's a good idea to have that, you know, and it gives you little ideas of how to. It gives you little representatives of what you've done, and you don't mind messing it up, you know. So it's a good thing to have, but make sure it's good, decent paper. I'm using the Langton. Use the Langton. It's a 300 GSM, and it's a rough one. I just prefer the rough that texture. Anyway, as it's getting into autumn, I thought I'd do a little autumnal field, an autumnal tree. Now, some of these trees that you see in autumn, they actually go from like a real strong red, especially if you go to these, like, I think there's a place in near Gloucester called the Arboreum or something. I can't pronounce it properly. Anyway, we have a mixture of colours which go from greens to oranges and over to reds. Now I'm gonna zoom out so you can see what I'm mixing. So here we go. So here I'm mixing let's see if we can zoom into that. Right, there we go. I've got it's a phthalo green. It's a light one, and I'm getting just a regular cadmium orange, and I'm using a opera rose. Okay, and I think they're probably the only three colours that we're using this. So let's zoom back out again. Let's get back on this. And alright, so I'm sorry you can't see what I'm doing with me when I'm grabbing colours, but you know the colours that I'm using. So I'm going to go from top to bottom. So let's add this is wet on dry, and just flooding this area really with this paint, and I'm using the tip of the brush if I can on many places, and this exercise is all about letting the colours run into each other. I've done a very rough sketch here. Now I'm going to dip into the orange and make sure that you're keeping this painting on your board wet. You don't want gaps where it's all stepping out and things. It's good to leave little gaps of white where the light can get through, and you can show later on a little bit of branches coming forward. Let's have a little bunch of orange over there. A nice bit of orange there, and you see I'm just doing little circles with my brush. Really simple, nothing really that technical. Just by using this little method, you'll be able to do this no problem. Now I think I'm going to dip into my green and keep it running through, bringing it down. And I'm going to wash the brush because I want a purer version of that green, because my brush is quite loaded heavy with the other colours. Let's get some more of that green, a little bit neater. and just round the central part where the sun hasn't had the chance to turn these leaves that warm colour. There we go, just like that. And you can see it's beginning to well up a little bit there. So I've got to be careful. I've got to get myself a thirsty brush and just drink up that little bit of a bead at the bottom there. Okay. I'm going to drink that up again. Now, I'm going to bring this green down there on this side of the tree, and I'm going to go back into that red now and just mix that in with that, and hopefully that'll give us just enough dark so we don't have to be going looking for any black paint or anything like that. Now then, let's see how that dries, shall we? Well, what we can do now, as it is just still very, very wet, if you want to, you can pop in for a little bit of a Payne's Grey. Just a little bit of Payne's Grey, just a little dab of it, and just tap in some of these areas, just around this part here. Just in these bits where it's going to run wet and wet. Not too much. Not too much, because you don't want to make it all too dark. This bit, you've got to. The secret of a good watercolor is you've got to try and keep your light, keep those light points as long as you can. And I'm lifting these things out now, just soaking up these little bits of blobby paint, where these beads of paint, and we can give it a bit of ground, eh? There we go. Right, let's leave that bit to dry. Okay, welcome back. Now, as you can see, that tree has dried a few shades lighter. I think about 30% it dries lighter. Now, I'm not going to mix any more colours. I'm going to use the same colours that we used before, that phthalo green, that opera rose, and that cadmium orange. I'm going to use these as shadows within those areas. So let's have a look at. These are just going to give different, like a different texture, or I'd call it my shaping shadows. Yeah. There we go. Just dab these over there, and back into that red now. That opera rose. Now I'm imagining that the light is coming from this angle. So that means we will leave less shadow at this side and just emphasize this part here. So I'm just using the tip of the brush. That first wash that we did is like a background wash, and just a couple of little smidgets, a couple of little inferences that these leaves have got shape, or this tree has got a bit of shape. And I think we'll pop over into this green now and just put a little bit of these colours down. See, there's nothing to this. It's there's no rules about, oh, it's got to be here, it's got to be there. You just let your brush dab where you think it's going to look. I think it'll look nice under there. Back into that orange, just at the bottom part of there. There we go. There we go, I quite like that. And when that runs together, it should be very nice. Now I've left these little gaps in this tree here, because that is a little part where we can put a little branch. There, and a little branch over there. Only thin branches. And see, I'm not getting too hung up about the colour of this at this stage, and with that red, I'm going to put the shadow at the left hand side. And see, it doesn't have to be dark, it doesn't even have to be Payne's grey. We're letting this colour be its shadow. There we go, let's let that dry for a while, shall we? There we go, we've let that dry and it's not faded away too much now. So that's a nice simple way of doing an autumnal tree. So we've got the leaves turn into this lovely warm colour, and we've still got notes of the green underneath. And if you notice, we didn't use any black or brown or dark colour or anything. We used the red from that just to complement the green at the bottom there. And I suppose it's turned it into a bit of a browny colour anyway. But that's really all you need to do. So I hope you have some fun painting your autumnal trees. Leave me your quotes, your comments. I always love to look at them, and I do look at them. And yeah, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching.